Hey folks, in this video we're going to talk about some of the causes of eczema in adults. Of course, eczema is very common in children, and I want to differentiate the difference between the two, right? I want to talk to those of you who have developed eczema later on in life, you didn't have it as a child, and I've been coaching eczema clients now for 3 or 4 years, and there's definitely some stuff that has been coming up 80% of the time. And so I can't guarantee that this information is going to be 100% relevant for you, your specific case. However, I can say this is stuff that's come up a lot, and so it's probably the sort of thing that you're going to need to look into if you're going to reverse this thing, if you're going to uproot eczema, if you're going to really reverse the disease properly and permanently. The first fundamental difference between an adult with eczema and a child with eczema is the adult is likely to be responsible for the situation that they find themselves in. So what exactly do I mean by that? Well, if you think about a child has come into the world, they're born to parents, and that child couldn't do anything to help their case before arriving on planet Earth. That was all down to their parents. Whereas an adult, if you've developed eczema later on in life, the chances are your lifestyle up until this point has brought you to where you are now. And that's one of the key differences between the two. And it's not a nice thing to shoulder responsibility for the disease that you find yourself in, but it is a crucial step. I believe everybody needs to take that step of responsibility with their skin, with their eczema, especially as an adult onset case of eczema, because within that lies a freedom. Within that lies the power to actually make a change. If you were born with the condition, I'm not saying that you can't heal, but it's definitely more complicated. When you're in that eczematic state, you're looking in the mirror, you see your skin covered in rashes and oozing, and it's really easy, especially as a discerning, intelligent adult, it's really easy to forget what your skin was like before. It's easy to get into this way of thinking that this is me now. This is now how my skin looks. I'm with this now for life. But that's completely irrational thought, because there was a time in your life when you didn't have eczema, right? Your skin was clear before, and now it isn't. So it stands to reason that you can recreate the circumstances that allowed you to have clear skin before. Now, those things might not be completely obvious because lifestyle change happens gradually, and as we build our skin cells on a day-to-day basis, that's not necessarily coming from the direct lifestyle that sits behind that, but we can get more into that further on in subsequent videos. But for now, take heart, take strength from the fact that you can make a change. You are responsible for where your skin goes next. You didn't always have this condition. There's something that you can do about it, and you've got to hold on to that belief. Of all the causes of eczema in adults, stress is one of the ones that is most specific to adults. Children, they don't really take on or harbour stress. A child will fall out with another child, and within a few minutes or maybe an hour, they're back on speaking terms and just getting along, playing with that other child again. And you know, we as adults, we really should look at children as our role models when it comes to stress. Kids just don't harbour stress. They don't really take it on. They don't take on much anxiety. They just get on with it. They're great at making friends. They're great at just adventuring without too much fear, too much concern for what might happen. But as we get older and as we take on more and more suggestions from the society around us, we just start to harbour more and more and more stress factors, anxiety factors that stop us from living our lives to the full. You know, I heard a great quote. Somebody once said that common sense is just the collection of prejudices that we have collected by age 18. Stress has such a profound effect on our bodies. When we're stressed, our digestion goes out the window, our relationships suffer, and just our overall attitude towards everything that we do, it changes. We're less likely to make healthful, healthy decisions in our life in general when we're in a stressed state. So embrace your inner child. Do what you can to take on that inner child that is still within you. You didn't lose it. You didn't become a completely different. You're still the same person that you were all those years ago when you were a child. And it's completely possible for you to embrace that again and bring some adventure into your life. Do things that scare you. Do things that make you feel like a child. I'm here in a cycling jersey right now, and cycling is one of those things that for so many people, they almost say it with a guilty tone, that cycling just makes me feel like a child again. But if it can do that for you and it can give you that freedom, then that's going to do something up here. That's going to do something. It's going to have a physiological effect on your body. I don't really understand the hormonal aspects of what's going on when we do this, but equally I don't think we need to understand. All we need to know is being free, living free like a child, it has some kind of physiological effect on the body that we want, we need. It's going to heal us. Something I really love my wife for is her ability to go about doing something when it might not be the most efficient, easiest way to do that thing. Like, for example, if we're navigating through a busy city on our bikes in traffic, I will need to know that we're taking the most direct route. We're not expending unnecessary energy, whereas she'll just find her way there and go about it and enjoy the ride and enjoy the sights and sounds of the city. And why am I like that? Why do I need to stop, check the map, make sure that we're going the most straightforward way? It's because the society that I was raised in just teaches me to be the most efficient person that I can. Find the fastest, cheapest, easiest way to do something. Don't be expending more energy than you need to be expending. But society, it packs us full of this way of thinking with everything, with our work, with our families, with our relationships even. And whilst that can have benefits for modern adult life, it strays over into areas of our life that it really shouldn't. It really shouldn't. So convenience, this living a life of convenience, it really strays over into things like our food. We start eating ready meals and things that are going to save us a bit of money, maybe a bit of time. I mean, time is a huge one, right? If we can save some time with our food, who isn't going to do that in the modern 21st century and these busy lives that we lead? But we just start to make less healthy decisions in our quest for more convenience. Same goes for transport. Instead of walking or cycling somewhere, if we can save some time and get on a bus or get in a car or something motorized, we tend to do that because that's just what we're taught to do. Don't waste time, get on with it, get it done, but it's not always the most conducive thing for our health. I recommend taking some time to think about the things in your life that are really important to you, things that you know that you're willing to give the time, the energy, the money for, but for whatever reason life got in the way and you're not doing that. Think about what those things are and add them to your vision board and make sure you're giving the time, the place, the value that they are. Because if you don't, internally there's going to be this angst, there's going to be this internal dialogue, this internal battle where you know that you're not living your life purpose, and a lack of peace is going to exist in your life. Louise Hay talks about eczema as mental eruptions. What does that mean, mental eruptions? Well, it's where you've got this unspoken voice, this unspoken dialogue, this argument that's not being given, but you know it needs to be given. Maybe not necessarily an argument you need to have with someone, but an argument that you need to have with your life, where you need to take stock and make sure that you're expressing yourself in the areas that you need to express, because otherwise this internal, you can boil over. Think about the word boil. Like the root cause, the emotional root causes of boils and eczema are the same thing. They both come from this mental eruption thing. And so you want to have as much peace as possible in your life. You want to be resting assured, sleeping easy at night, knowing that you're living your life's purpose. You're giving the time, the effort, the energy, the money to the things that mean a lot to you. The 3 causes of eczema in adults that I've chosen to focus on in this video, so stress, living a life of convenience, and now being an antagonist, these three are linked, and maybe they're a bit of a step away from the pragmatic, practical advice that you're used to hearing from me. But it's important to get into this brain-focused, more emotional stuff, because a lot of you need to hear this stuff. And ultimately, the practical decisions that we make in life, like being healthier, eating healthy food, getting more sleep, hydrating well, doing more exercise, these practical, conscious decisions that we make, they come from this place of harboring peace, living in line with our purpose. That's what gives us the energy, that's what gives us the mobility to make these more practical decisions. I've had the pleasure of speaking with a lot of different people on this, going through this journey of eczema healing, psoriasis, dermatitis, and for some of you, maybe not those of you that have watched this far into this video, but some people going through this, they get really antagonistic about the advice that I give. And ultimately, I'm here to help. I'm here to try and see you through this, get you out of the woods here, uproot this thing permanently. But for those of you who don't agree, sometimes you want to get into it. It's almost like you want to get into an argument. And I feel like saying, look, just let it go, just move on, go somewhere else, because at this point, if you're being antagonistic, it's not going to be conducive to reducing that angst we were talking about earlier. And I really think that the antagonistic approach to life really ties in with an internal acidic system, which we know is not conducive for health in the body. Next time you're in a restaurant, if you're still going to restaurants, that is, look around for another diner, another patron at the restaurant, and try and pick someone and keep an eye on someone who is in a heated debate with somebody, or maybe they've complained about their food or something, and just watch, just observe quietly from a distance. You'll probably find that they have quite an acidic meal, maybe a steak, and they'll add salt and stuff to the steak before even tasting it, and then the meal will usually end with coffee, maybe even a cigarette, and there'll just be a kind of a residual frown on their face, and they're just out to look for arguments all the time, look for antagonism. And you can see this play out in their food. I don't necessarily know what comes first, if it's the food that comes first, the acidic diet that comes first, or if it's the personality that they had that then led them to this food. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. So become a protagonist in your life. Become a positive person. Don't just become the net average of those that you hang around. Become the one that people look up to around you. Become significant. Become successful through your positive vibes that you're giving off to others. Become a helper to those in need around you. Be a glass half full person. See the silver lining in the clouds. See the route forwards when other people around you are just looking at the obstacles. Because eczema, it needs angst inside to survive. It needs that acidic body to exist in. And if you become a positive, light, airy person, eczema, it ain't going to stick around. It's going to go off and look for somebody else who's much more antagonistic and negative than you. So send out positive vibes and they'll come back to you in the form of healthy skin.